What's up guys, Nugi here, and today I'm going to show off my CoC build, which is a cast on critical strike build. So what this means is that cast on critical strike is a support gem. It is a trigger gem that you can link to an attack. Whenever your attack crits, it will then cast the spells that you have supported within the same links. So I crit with Kinetic Blast. It will then cast the Fireball Arctic Breath, and it's gonna GMP, it's gonna support both the Fireball, the Arctic Breath, and the Kinetic Blast, so everything gets GMP'd. Okay? So let's say I shoot this into a group, all these small bombs proc. That's like 5 plus the 4 explosions, that's another times 5. So it's 24 hits total you could do. So let's say you hit with everything, that's 24 hits. That will then cast 24 times, up to 24 times. It could also not cast at all, but that's unlikely. So you get 68% of those crits will then trigger a cast. So you get like, I don't know, like 10-15 casts out. So you hit once and you then shoot off 10 fireballs, 10 Arctic Breath. They're all GMP'd, so that's like 100 total. Pretty damn insane. For single target I have Barrage, Ice Spear, Fireball, Critical Strike damage in a socketed gem supported by Cast and Crit. You can also get this on Gloves, which is more expensive, but it opens you up to swap out your helmet more freely. So that's very nice if you can get Cast and Crit on your Malagaros. That is the preferred slot, but if you're a little bit more budget, you can go with it on the helmet. So what I did to get on the helmet, I corrupted a bunch of helmets. I had like another 10-15 that bricked that I just threw out. But just so you can see here, you corrupt like a bunch until you hit this, and then you have your 5 linked single target. Very, very nice. So how are you supposed to scale it with stats? Get a wand, a fast attack speaking wand, a fast attacking wand, because the more you attack, the more you crit. So pretty much attack speed is the same as cast speed. For a spell build, like this is a caster in essence, but we circumvent the cast speed by casting every time we crit instead, and so we can break the cast speed barrier completely and cast way more times. The reason why Barrage is good is that it creates additional projectiles. All these projectiles can crit and then trigger the cast on crit, and so this is a very good way of having a single target skill. In the past, people were supporting this with the GMP, right? Barrage with GMP, and you would create an additional 4 projectiles on the Barrage, making it shoot 8 out. But then you start GMPing your spells, and if you start GMPing your spells, in the past you would shotgun. Shotgunning has been removed, so that's why I'm now using a Barrage with no GMP but critical damage, Ice Spear, and Fireball. The reason why I use Ice Spear is because now we're using, instead of going all close, we stand a little bit of away. So we get the second form Ice Spear, meaning that we get the almost crit capped Ice Spear as well, with the critical damage giving us huge amount of damage. And the Fireball just has very high damage per cast and a high crit chance, so that adds a lot of damage as well. Having different spells here, Fire and Ice, is nice, because if you get a pure fire resistant, then you have the ice. If you get a pure cold resistant, then you have fire. So that is why I do that. So high critical chance on your wand with attack speed, and then you want to get any spell damage, preferably a prefix open, to get some leech, either fire or cold. You can decide. You can also decide what kind of skills you want to support here. You can pretty much pick anything you want of a projectile based spell. The same thing goes down here. Arctic Breath is amazing because, as you could see, it generated all the chilled ground. So next step is, how do we then spec? We grab as much global crit chance as possible. The reason why we grab global crit chance is that it scales our attack and our spells. So I'm getting the global crit here, global crit here. All the power charges are global crit. I get global crit on my neck. And I get global crit on the Malagaros, both multiplier and chance. Then we have diamond rings as well. Diamond rings are amazing. It scales your global crit again for both, getting us as close to the crit cap as possible. If you ever reach the crit cap, meaning 95% crit with either kinetic blast or barrage or both, you don't want to get more global crit. Then you start speccing into spell crit, because this will only scale the spells, and you will never hit the crit cap with spells with just scaling global crit. Because the only reason we hit this global crit cap, or the crit cap with our attack, is because we have an 11% base on our wand. The spells only have 5, 6, 6 and well, 7 and 6, so hitting the global crit cap on Ice Spear is fairly easy. Fireball is not going to happen. Arctic Breath is definitely not going to happen. So at that point you can start speccing into some spell crit as well. And so what I would spec into was probably just these 3 nodes, nothing more. I think that is fine. If you're really baller, you can also spec into like Arcane Potency for crit multiplier. For spells, crit multiplier is very strong for scaling damage. Also these nodes down here, you want to get accuracy because you do need to hit as well. As you can see here, I have 1650 put on the Ice Golem. We have 2000, that is fairly okay. I would like some more though. I'm thinking about getting maybe accuracy on a jewel. That would be nice. So yeah, that was pretty much the offense. Getting spell damage, added damage to spells and stuff like that is very good. On to the defenses. On the defensive side, I've picked up Phase Aggro. I'm using Artillery Steps for more spell dodge. So right now we have 44 spell dodge. I'm using Sapphal's Frame to get 79 all resist, and I get the 13% Gemstork spells, because one of the issues with cast and crit is that on Thornflesh you run the risk of killing yourself. Right now I'm not having any issues whatsoever with Thornflesh in single player, like solo maps. In at least the lower level ones I've done up to 74 so far. And not a single issue, even with packs of 10 bears and stuff like that, which have very high HP and are not very resistant. I did not have any issue with killing myself. I could see myself drop like 1000. If you go into a group, the monsters gain more HP, and you will not be able to keep up with the leech rate in the end. I think if you go in very high level maps with multiple people, and if they like start EEing and cursing, then you will eventually kill yourself on Thornflesh if you're not very careful. The ways to safeguard yourself against Thornflesh and other forms of Reflect is by using Leech, the Dodge, the Spell Block, the Resist, Potions. So what I am thinking about is getting the potion nodes here, so we can have a Fire Potion and a Cold Potion. I'll swap this for a Cold Potion with Surgeons. Surgeons, every time you crit, you gain a charge. So these will be up permanently, so you can run around with a permanent Fire and Cold Potion for another 13 max resist. Also you can run double purities with Fire and Cold, giving you another 4, possibly 5% resist. So that'll be 84 with the 5 plus the 13, that's 97 all res. So if you make sure you're always running around with 97 all res, you don't actually have to get Vol Pact. But if you're not that comfortable with keeping up flasks all the time and you don't want to run double purities and maybe give up on the some of the heralds to fit this in, because I would give up my heralds, run the double purities instead, but this is when I get even better gear, even higher levels, and the max level things here, and the 6 link and all that. When all that comes together, we have so much damage anyways, we just need to defend ourselves. If you're not into that, you can get Vol Pact and get Life Leech down here, and you will pretty much be, with all this other medication, you'll be immune to Reflect, unless you're doing minus max. The other kind of defenses here is that with Aggro you get very defensive. The build itself will have 1, 2, 3 easy jewel slots. If you go in here for Vol Pact, you get another one here, and then you can go down here, grab this, so you can get up to 5 jewel slots with even more life, so you get more than 200% life. You can even fit in a lightning coil with if you go purities, and then you have to get some lightning resist on gear. If you fit in the lightning coil, you pretty much have the tanky, like you could potentially get 6 to 7k life with lightning coil, with Aggro, Phase Aggro, Sapphal's, and potentially like 5k evasion. I would put on the evasion roll here as well on the rings, with the 20% with this one here, because we don't really have anything else to use our prefix roll. So actually evasion rating here becomes pretty nice. So the last point I want to address is what about resources? As you can see here, I'm using a mana potion for now. I run out fairly quickly of mana. So there are two options I've been contemplating. One is this that I'm using right now, mana gained on hit. With double herald and Arctic armor, you have 25% left, giving you a good amount for like 1, 2, 3, 4 casts. That is plenty of time to regain it all. If you hit just one pack, you're gonna regain all the mana instantly. This goes up to 2 mana gain per hit on attacks, so that is one option. The other option I've been thinking about is if I go with the purity setup, I can go with Eldritch Battery. So for 2 points here, and I use purity and still Arctic armor, it then reserves 95% of my mana. So I couldn't run it on mana if I went the purity setup, but then we can go Eldritch Battery, and then instead of mana gain per hit, we gain ES gain per hit. And as you can see over here, we do have enough ES right now for us to actually run. Like, we will have a higher pool here. Let's say you're running a no regen map and you're like shooting and then, oh shit, you whiffed a couple of shots. You just wait a little bit and it regens for you. So it actually does give you some utility in something like a no regen map. Yeah, so either mana gain on hit or ES gain on hit, EB or no EB. This is something you can play around with and see what suits you the best. So yeah, that was a quick guide into how this works. A very tanky cast and crit character, where we will eventually reach the crit cap if we get the gear for it. More information, and if you want to check out some variations to the build that you can do, I will post a link down below, which will lead you to both the skill tree here, variations you can do, variations of what armors you can use, because lightning cord is not the end all. You can also go the Hero's Ire for the spell block. You can go multiple chest pieces. You can go with a rare chest piece as well if you want chaos rest and stuff like that. So there is not a end all be all type of armor here. I'll have multiple options in the build guide, and I'll see you guys next time.